Well, welcome back to another Coffee and a Chat. And yes, I know I've got the wrong glasses on. But they're the glasses that were sitting here and they're working for me. So I was just sitting here reading the Word. And I want to share something with you. And I'm not even going to take the time to go get the other glasses. I'm just going to share with you with these. And no matter how funny I might look, because it doesn't matter. But I'm reading in the Psalms right now, and there's a lot of joy that I'm getting out of reading them. And part of my joy, too, is this is the Bible that I read out of was my mother's, the last Bible she had. She's had many Bibles, and I think I probably have just about all of them. But this was the last one she had, and I will tell you, it's a blessing just when I turn a page, and then there's my mother's handwriting where she made some notes and put some things down. Yesterday, one of the ones that I read, and this really, really touched my heart, was, let's see, Psalm 25, verses 16 and 17. She had underlined this, and it says, "Turn to me and be gracious to me, for I am lonely and afflicted. Relieve the troubles of my heart and free me from my anguish." And then she had wrote a note on the side. She had put Ernie's 80, which was, my dad was Ernie, and he had Alzheimer's, and so I'm sure that it's Alzheimer's disease. I know that was really hard for her because as he lost his memory more and more, she wasn't able to really just even have normal discussions with him because he was becoming so disconnected from reality, from the life they had lived together for I think had been married 65 years when she passed away. And I know she used to come, and sit with me and cry for a little bit because she missed my dad, and he wasn't the same. And then after she passed away, he lived for 2 more years. And I can tell you, I was those last several years, but the last 2 years without her there as kind of my support, emotionally, because we'd known him for so long and we could share these stories together. And as he changed and I became more and more the parent and him the child, it was difficult. And I missed my dad, the one that had always been the strong one, the smart one that I knew would protect me, and then he ended up coming to a point where I had to be the strong one. I had to protect him. I had to take care of him. And it was my joy to do that. Don't get me wrong. But when you're dealing with forms of dementia, you grieve the loss of the person long before they actually pass away. Because if you've ever dealt with someone with dementia, then you know that things keep changing and it's difficult. Okay, so that is a blessing as I read through and I come across my mom's little notes and stuff, and I can feel her heart and it makes me miss her. I sat and I think it was yesterday, just cried for a little bit, as I was looking at the scriptures she underlined and reading the little notes she had written in the margins. She had made a notation that, about when she was saved, that's in here, but that she was praying for all her children to the 4th generation, that she prays for them by name. And I remember, she and I had a talk, and if you go back to my old stuff, there is one about my great-grandma Neufeld, and how just before she passed away, she showed us all well, she had my great-grandfather hold her Bible up and show us that all our names were written in her Bible. And from the day we were born, she had prayed for each one of us every day of our life by name, lifted us up before the Lord. And it was a long list. It was a big family. And I mean, she and Grandpa alone had quite a handful of children, and then their children, and then their grandchildren, and their great-grandchildren. And so, yeah, that was a pivotal moment. And I remember talking to my mom about that, and how when Grandma was like, I'm getting ready to go home to be with Jesus now. Who's going to take over praying for the family? And I was 8 years old at the time, but that impacted my heart that I would do that. And I've kept a prayer journal since. It's in like these 3-ring or spiral notebooks or 3-ring notebooks or whatever, a pad, because as I go through them, I always need another one. And so I've just got lists of names, and some of you guys who watch my videos, that have asked for prayer and interacted with me, your names are in my prayer journal, and they stay in there for a minimum of 40 days. And that's because 40 is the number of birthing. And I believe that within that 40 days that God will birth something within your life, within my life, and I usually find that when I'm, most things that I'm having to, when I don't have the resources and I need help from the Lord, and I'll write down the need, within those 40 days, the Lord takes care of it, births the answer right out. And so anyway, those prayer journals and keeping people's names and praying for my family members, even the ones that I lost through divorce, they're still in there. And, and like family like that, till the day a person dies, I keep praying for them, and I keep their names in that prayer journal. I prayed for my ex-husband to the day that he died, and I didn't pray for God to bring judgment on him, or no, I prayed for his good. When he remarried, I prayed for her. Prayer, I found, when I'm praying for someone, especially someone who's harmed me or hurt me, that the Lord moves through that and helps me onto the road of forgiveness. And he heals brokenness in me. So as I reach out and pray for them in a godly way, not a vengeful way. So those are just some little extras. But what I want to share with you is, I was reading in Psalm 32, and this really made me think about some things. And when I got to this, I had to keep coming back and pray this over my own life. And Lord, I need this. So in verse 8 I went through the end of the chapter, verse 11. So 8, 9, 10, and 11, 4 verses. But verse 8 says, I will, and this is God speaking to his children, to those who love him and follow him. He says, I will instruct you and teach you in the way you should go. Oh, you guys, I need his instruction. I need him to teach me in the way I should go. Trying to figure life out on my own does not go very well. And I want the wisdom of God. I want the will of God to guide me and direct me. And he says, I will counsel you with my loving eye on you. And oh, how I need the counsel of the Lord. I've got a little situation going on, and I'm having some attitude. I've got a piece of hair here that doesn't want to cooperate. But I've got, I would say, an attitude situation that I'm struggling with. And I need, we can go to people for counsel, and I'm not saying we shouldn't, because we should seek wise counsel. But what counsel can I receive that's any greater than the counsel of God Almighty? So I need his counsel. Then in verse 9 it says, do not be like the horse or the mule, which have no understanding, but must be controlled by bit and bridle, or they will not come to you. And when I read that, I was thinking, I'm sure the bit and bridle, it's constricting. It's got to cause some pain. I mean, there's some way that it tugs them. And I'm not a horse person. I have dearly loved people in my life that are horse people. And if I had June or Pat here, I would be asking, they're like sisters to me, and they both are horse people. And I'd be saying, so how does that thing work? But I don't have them here in this moment. But I know that it's a circumstance that causes the horse or the mule to walk in obedience. And on their own, they won't do it. So it made me think about all the times that the Lord has had to allow troubles and hardships, trials and tribulations to come into my life so that I'd pay attention to him and get back on the path where I'm supposed to be going. And I thought, wouldn't it be better to just be close to him and listening to him and his guidance and not need those hard things to be sent my way in order to get my attention? Wouldn't it be better just to already be giving it to him? I could probably spare myself a lot of things. And then it says, many are the woes of the wicked, even though it doesn't always seem like it. But the Lord's unfailing love surrounds the one who trusts in him. Yeah, I have lots of needs that come and go in life, and lots of places that I look for those needs to be met. But I need to just look to him, and I need to trust him, so that even when he says, walk down the dark alley, and I'm like, I don't want to walk down the dark alley. The dark alley is scary. I want to go down the well-lit street. And he says, no, I'm telling you to go down the dark alley, because he already knows, and he goes with me, and there's angels surrounding me, and I'll be safe. And there is some reason he wants me to go down the dark alley. And usually I encounter someone in the dark alley who's not scary, but someone who is lost and afraid and looking for the Lord. And I can share that with them. And if I'd gone down the well-lit street, everything would have been like, whatever. And he wanted me to trust him to go down the dark alley. And I have been grateful every time I trusted him to go down the dark alley when he's told me to go it, just representing to do the thing I don't want to do. I have never been disappointed, and I've never regretted it. Now, there have been many times that when I've chose, no, I think I'll go the path that seems safe to me, because I wasn't trusting him. I've ended up regretting it because I've seen what I missed, what I should have done, what I could have done, how I could have brought honor and glory to him, and I didn't. I wouldn't go, so he sent somebody else. I don't want to miss those opportunities, and now I think I'm too old to be worried about the dark alleys in life. But I just want to trust the Lord, because yea, though I go through the valley of the shadow of death, thou art with me. So I'm okay as long as I'm doing what he tells me to do. Now, if I decide to go down the dark alley to throw caution to the wind and see what I'll find, I will just tell you that never has turned out well for me. That has always been very, very bad. And then verse 11 ends with, rejoice in the Lord and be glad. You righteous, sing, all you who are upright in heart. Oh, I love when the Psalms end with all that praise. So I want to put my trust in him. And today I feel very challenged in that, because I've got some things in my attitude that need to be adjusted. And I don't want to adjust them according to my own understanding. But I want to hear his wisdom and his voice, and whatever he says, even if I'm like, ooh, I don't want to do that. I want to trust him enough to know that he knows better than I do. And I don't need that bit and bridle in my mouth in order to get me to do the right thing, okay? But I am willing and loving and wanting. I'm more like my dog that just can't wait to please me, that wants to do what I'm asking it to do, because that dog, dogs are cool that way. They're stubborn dogs too. But when a dog really trusts you and really, see, I do know dogs. We're training because, we've got some puppies, and we're, working on training them. And so much of it is about them trusting us. And once they know they can trust us and they do what we ask them to do, oh, things go so much better. I'm like that puppy. God's already proved himself to me. I know I can trust him. I have no excuse not to. So I just wanted to share this with you because, I don't know, this world's kind of upside down. I keep saying it. It is, and it's getting more so. And there's a lot of things of uncertainty. I know there were more things that came out in the news yesterday that could, if you really look at it, you could be a little worried about things, economically and stuff, and the possibility of financial collapse and all. And, and if my trust and my faith is in the little bit of money I have, I'm doomed. But if my trust and my faith is in the creator of the universe, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, I've got nothing to worry about, because he holds it all in his hands, and he will take care of me. He will feed me manna from heaven when I'm hungry. Now, the children of Israel didn't always like that manna. They complained and wanted meat. So God gave them a belly full. I don't want to complain, but I want to be grateful and satisfied with what he provides me. I want to walk the path that he says that is before me and he says I should go down. I want to spend the rest of my days, however many there are, obeying him and doing what he's called me to do. Because that's where real joy and real peace is. That's where the singing and the dancing breaks out as I see the Lord move. In case you're like me and you want that too, and you're tired of the ways of the world, well, just thought I'd share with you a little nugget of something that God shared with me. I hope it encourages you. I hope it inspires you. And I hope that it brings you peace and joy in him. All right. I love you guys. I'll talk to you again real soon.